Wizkid, Wizkid, man, this guy is doing a lot of numbers lately. So one thing I understand about this is that Wizkid is indirectly promoting because he dey get some kind of concert this time around, and that has really impacted the streams of Wizkid. And as we have right now, Wizkid's Morayo's album, which he released last year, has now surpassed over 411 million streams on Spotify. That is a big number for Wizkid, and we got to really appreciate this guy based on the impact he's made in Afrobeat. That is something I kind of understand about all of this. So now a lot of us we understand it from a different point of view and say, this now opportunity for us to either compare Wizkid to Burna Boy, Davido, a lot of others. But that is not really a comparison to say. But I feel that whiskey, thank God, say whiskey game, it don't they really they change this time around. In 2025, I see that whiskey is really changing because I feel that he must have learned from experience. That is something I'm feeling right here, and a lot of us we understand it from there. We got some informations that we need to really share with you guys. I want you guys to understand that without you watching my videos not go. So you watching it for the first time, you can decide to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button below, the bell notification icon to always get notifications each time we upload our videos. And then you can share our videos across social media platforms. Go on other social media platforms, join us. We have our pages there so that you go feed the really they see what we dey talk about, because we are open-minded. We talk about things happening in our environment. Now, still, we got to talk about whiskey because whiskey is changing the game for real. That is something I got to understand right here. That is something I got to understand right here. Now, some people are saying, based on some records out there, Wizkid has now become the only Nigerian artist in 2025 to have three songs sold over 100,000 units in the US. That is what the statistics is talking about, in terms of Wizkid's achievements. And then this that is we have Kese, that is dance, sold over 100,000 units in the US. In the Morayo's album, we got Ghana and Whiskey Forever Be Mine has now sold over 100,000 units in the US. And then we got Wizkid and Brent Fayez, Piece of My Heart has now sold over 100,000 units in the US. That is a big number. I think we have to give kudos to Wizkid on this. This is a big achievement for Wizkid. And then I'm happy that Wizkid still dey really dey come up with this kind of data and statistics that is really trending now on social media. So we got to understand it from that point of view. We got to understand it. Now somebody dey try dey sow in confusion in the midst of this whole happiness of whiskey. Somebody dey try to kpokpo whiskey and all those kind of things, and this is really wrong. We should not concern ourselves with all those things. See, one Ruthie, this lady like fufu sha on Twitter. She like food. She like food. If you see her belle alone, sef, just try and Google her name or check their ChatGPT. You go to Twitter, check her pictures. You will get to understand she like food. Anything food, fufu. Dey use am dey play. But na to dey condemn people wey dey succeed for relationship, she also sabi that one. Look at what she said. Said, why Wizkid never marry? Who told you that Wizkid never marry? They are cohabiting, they are having children. This Wizkid dey with another woman. You don't see and they have another girlfriend and all those things. I don't know why people they could just find a way to one spoil your day. That is something I got to understand from this. And he actually shared this on social she actually shared this on social media. A lot of people are now giving her voice and tiki taka on it. Tiki taka, tiki taka. Now let's talk about Wizkid. In recent time, Wizkid has been like having different kind of concerts, here and there and the rest. And this is really paying off because when you check the streams of Wizkid right now, it's really going up, and we got to really, really celebrate it with whiskey. That is something I feel. And that is a big win for Afrobeat to an extent also. And that is a big rise of Afrobeat. That is something I feel about that. Recently, based on the records we have, his Morayo's album has actually kicked about 411 million streams on Spotify. That is a big win and a big number for Wizkid, and that is a big win and a big number for Wizkid. Although it was released about in 2024, it was released. I think later 2024, it was the album dropped, and now it has gotten over 400 and something. And Davido dropped an album, I think this year, first quarter, the second quarter of this year. That album is about chasing 400 million streams on Spotify. That is also a big one for Davido. And then we got Burna Boy that has gotten with his album over 200 and something million streams on Spotify. That is also a good head of start, for Burna Boy at that. But now I'm really excited, elated that Wizkid is still like trending right now. I'm still really, really, really excited about that. So, what is your own take? What does it say about Afrobeat? Because a lot of people then go put in big three, and now coming in from the likes of Peruzzi, in they say we not get anything like big three. Peruzzi actually said in a recent tweet, somebody came out to say, if you have the chance, asking Peruzzi, will you jump on a feature with any of these big three, aside OBO, of course, because he has a song already with OBO. And Peruzzi said, there is no big three in Afrobeat. So, should he take the words of Peruzzi? That is the question I'm really asking right now. A lot of people are getting to understand something like, Tiwa Savage don't come out say no big three and all those things. It's easier for us to say, but the statistics is saying otherwise. The report we having is saying otherwise. If you want to cancel big three, you know what you need to do? It's very simple. Very, 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 very simple. All you got to do is just go out there and then maybe try and make a reconciliation between Davido, Wizkid, and Burna Boy. So these guys forming synergy that will crack the ceiling of Big Three. Because I said it in one of my videos that Big Three in Afrobeat is the limitation of Afrobeat so far. Because Afrobeat cannot be bigger than Davido. Afrobeat cannot be bigger than Burna. Afrobeat can now not be bigger than Wizkid. So we got the likes of Rema saying that it's now a big four. So Afrobeat will not be bigger than them. So until these people collaborate, that is when Afrobeat will be bigger. That is something I kind of understand. But Peruzzi is coming out to say no big three in Afrobeat. But do you quite agree with Peruzzi? I want you to put your own comments in the comment section. Before I jump off, I want to say thank you guys for always coming out, watching my videos. Thank you for the love so far. If you are new here, you can click the subscribe button below, the bell notification icon to always get notifications each time we upload our videos. I love you guys. Keep supporting Afrobeat blog across social media platforms.